Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, well guys, we're going to be talking about XinFin. Alright, listen, XinFin XDC. I just want to ask all of you out there, how are you guys feeling? All the XDC holders, how are you guys doing? Because this thing has surprised a lot of people. I feel as though it's shocking the world at this point. And you know what? I also want to talk to you guys about why nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. We're going to go in depth on a few things and really kind of address a few things. But for the most part, I mean, this thing's volume is sitting at about roughly $44 million. I know to some people that might not seem like a lot, but if you go back to, you know, the bull run of 2021, you know, this thing hit its all-time high off of roughly like $30-some million in volume. And we're already overshooting that volume in a bear market. So think about how crazy that is. But you know, I want everybody to understand the lesson learned here though, and it's the fact that this thing took roughly a year for these gains to really kind of realize in. All of this space, right? Like this entire space, especially if you were looking into utility tokens, this is what happens, right? Like we go sideways until the big moves start to happen. And I've addressed this many times in past videos, and I always make sure that you guys realize this because the wait is always worth it. Okay? This year, on the 1 year span, XDC is up about almost 200%. Off of the lows, this thing is up almost 3x. And in fact, I should say off of the lows, it's up almost 4x now that I look at it. But it's wild, right? Like it's so crazy to me that nobody cares about these tokens until things like this actually happen. I now have people asking me like, how can I buy XDC? You know, where do you guys buy XDC? It's like you had a whole year, and this is why retail continues to fail. But also, let's look at a few of these price predictions. So this got posted back in March of this year. And this is exactly why I think everyone should just completely block out the noise around a lot of these price predictions because they're all nonsense. All right. Why do I believe that? Well, because they are. Like, look at these price predictions on XDC. So max price day we're saying for 2023 was 8 cents practically. Well, guess what? We blew past that. In fact, on some exchanges, this thing already hit like roughly 9 cents. So think about how crazy that is. And you know what? We're getting very close to having a big breakout. Just going off of the CoinMarketCap chart, it's like anywhere between 10 to 11 cents. I'm talking about this high back here during roughly April of 2021. Once we get past that zone, it's going to be free skies to a new all-time high, or even just retesting the all-time high. Now remember though, during that 2021 run, we did go up to about 11 cents and then pulled back down to about like roughly 5 cents. So that is not out of the question yet again. Don't FOMO in onto green candles. Trust me, you guys had a year to, you know, FOMO into this thing. Don't FOMO in now off of this massive candle to the upside. But as we do look at these price predictions, it's comical, right? They're talking about $100 plus XDC by 2050, talking about a $42 one by 2040. They're even saying by 2027, it could be $1.95. Honestly, I would argue that we could see a $2 XDC if it does do an XRP-like run. And I've even addressed on how we get to $2 going off of the XRP-like run scenario, which again is not out of the question. But it's funny to look at XDC today because it really is overshadowing a lot of gems in the space. And it's sitting at number 43 on CMC, and it's up about 160% on the 30-day span, sitting at about roughly almost a $1.2 billion market cap. And it seems as though it wants to flip QNT. It's pretty comical. But this is why we accumulate. This is why we diversify our holdings. And XDC has always been a gem on my list. Over here, I said waking up the last few days being an XDC holder has been absolutely incredible. Remember that it took 380 plus days for this move to happen. And again, that's something that I want you all to understand, that it did take 380 plus days. This is why retail will be tested through time and why patience is the biggest key to success. The moves that have been made the last few weeks around trade finance and adoption of standards are huge. This all aligns perfectly with XDC becoming an absolute giant in the world of trade. Such an incredible moment for those that see the value behind utility. And here you guys have the chart that I screenshot it. And it really is wild, right? It's been a wild ride in the space, and as everyone was looking at this space and saying, well, we're in a bear market, none of these tokens are going to move, we still have until 2024. I want you guys to realize, like, this is why you need to be accumulating. You need to be accumulating these tokens when they are extremely oversold. I looked at XDC at 2 cents. I was just like, there's no way this thing is at 2 cents. Because again, at that point, it's a 10x to the all-time high practically. It was oversold. And also, Anderson is making a great point because, you know, I look at trade finance as a space that is severely overlooked. We do see, let's contrast two markets. One is a typical retail market while the other is traditional finance. And you could argue that this is a boring market, or sorry, this is an exciting market versus a boring market. This is gaming versus trade finance. Okay, so I go outside and I talk to somebody and I say, hey, do you know gaming? 9 times out of 10, yes, they know gaming. They might even play games. Now, what if I said trade finance? They would have zero idea of what trade finance is. See, this is the difference between boring and exciting markets. The boring markets are the ones where we do see, you know, institutional grade adoption and trillions of dollars flooding in. Gaming is a $200 billion market. Trade finance is a $19 trillion market. Trade finance suffers from huge amounts of friction. Gaming is not as obvious. With gaming, you will have to create a product. Regular people wish to use that utilize crypto in some way. How many years will that take? Then you'll have to convince people to use it. And I don't think that that is going to happen so easily. You might say in-game NFTs. How much demand will that create for a crypto asset? Not much. And again, we're probably still years away from that. Today, we know that trade finance is being shaken up by XinFin. You know what's also funny about this? I do want to mention something about the retail sector. I also think that the retail sector is being sheltered away from incredible opportunities. I shared this over on my Twitter as well. For anybody else out there that wants to care, this is how they screw you over. I said TikTok has to be the worst platform out there in terms of content and even content creation. Posted a video on July 16th about why you need to focus on XDC. The price of one XDC at that time was roughly 3 cents. Today's value of XDC is nearly 8.5 cents, almost a 3x in roughly weeks. This is why TikTok is not a platform for valuable information. They want you distracted by the trash that is flooding that platform. Stop scrolling through endless trash and focus on the valuable information. And here you guys have them blocking my XDC video and even an HBAR video, which is why, like, you know, I say, like, this channel, there's incredible amounts of value that I talk about on this channel. And trust me, it's not just me. There's a ton of great content creators out there that are trying to do the same exact thing. There might be some hit and miss, you know, videos on this channel as well. I'm human, right? I make mistakes. But for the most part, like, I try to talk about the tokens that truly matter and that are truly doing incredible things. And XDC has always been one that I've been talking about forever. And it continues to be a major talking point on this channel because I do believe that the future is extremely bright for XDC, especially as we do have a $19 trillion market that is being disrupted by it. But I just thought it was comical that TikTok is trying to hide content like this at crucial moments. Like, here you guys have the 16th, 3 cents. It's insane. But also, over here, it looks like the individuals from XDC, or I should say XinFin, this is the co-founder, it seems as though they're heating up adoption of the XDC trade network. And here we have, here's a guide for all major corporations or corporates, shipping companies, banks, and other liquidity providers who want to go MLATR compliant with XDC trade network integration with IMDA-SG Trade Trust. And this is huge. Step-by-step guide. It seems as though there's a lot more eyes on XinFin, and it seems as though there's going to be a lot more adoption as well. And I'm so damn excited for this. We also seen XDC Foundation give out a few little bit of it's kind of like a story, right, behind XDC. These are the other significant milestones from the launch of Impul, from SBI VC, all the way to, you know, them joining the TFDI and then even the ITFA and things like that. You know, it's been a long time coming. You know, go all the way back to 2020. Nobody really cared about XDC during 2020. Here you guys have 2020 just for reference. Here is 2020. XDC was practically, it was a hidden gem. Nobody even noticed XDC. Everyone's eyes were on XRP, XLM, I think ADA at that time as well. There's a few other assets. But for the most part, XDC was in the shadows until boom, green candles. Then everyone noticed it. And it's kind of comical how it really takes the retail sector to notice assets when they are already starting to move. They don't care about it, in the depths. And I do think that this could very well be the start of a major run up. If we surpass that 11-cent barrier up there, I do think that we will end up going to the all-time high and possibly even breaking it, going into price discovery. And from there, we really kind of look at, a few levels. Initially, I was talking about 50 to 80 cents on XDC, but we could go much higher, and I've talked about that. That's why you need to make sure that you are de-risking and taking some profits on the way up. But nonetheless, I also do want to take you guys over to this tweet here from Andre Kasserman. And he does say, remember August 2021 when XinFin Official joined TFDI? Today we announced XinFin Official as a platinum sponsor for the October 2023 TFDI Investor Day. This is going to be a huge event. Definitely keep a close eye out on this. More to follow by October 19th through the 20th with XinFin USA and Trade Tech. And this is great. You know what? Even Utility Theory, I just recently had a meeting with him. I called him via Discord and I was talking to him. And we were talking about XinFin, we were talking about XDC and how overlooked it is and how nobody cares about it. And then all of a sudden things like this happen. And it's something special. But he posted a ton of information back in 2022. This was January of 2022, talking about 2021 regulated fintech review. XDC Network joined the TFDI to revolutionize global trade finance with tier 1 banks and SMEs. And you know what? When you actually look at all of the banks tied to this, it's wild. But this is what really made everyone focused on XDC in the Discord. A lot of people in the Discord have been focused on XDC just along with me because of how big these networks are of individuals like the TFDI, for an example. This is building the global trade finance distribution community. And look at all of these major players here. Like, these are tier 1 banks and SMEs. And also, we do see keywords ITFA, ICC, network of trusted networks. It's a network of networks. And I even made a video talking a little bit about this. And I made a video talking about Swift actually, and how I think it was Trade Phoenix actually, that is building a network of networks between banks, liquidity providers, you name it. And here we have down here the tech stack, Trade Tech with XDC and a few other players, and all of the other alliances tied to this as well around trade finance. Also over here, you have webinar on blockchain technology for cross-border trade. And within this, you have a few players, and ITFA with Andre Kasserman is here, Anigio as well. And Anigio, we even do see Utility Theory connecting the dots with Anigio. Anigio is a big player, but XDC is utilized as the messaging standard, aka the one that will settle all of these transactions through DDoS on XDC, which is very special to see. And this is how I've looked at it as well. Like, XinFin is the settlement network, if you will, for all of this. It's truly something special, right? Like, everything is coming together at such a big moment in history, and even a technology revolution is upon us as well, which I've been addressing for so long. And it's very exciting, right? All the standardization's in place, and it kind of brings me back to my tweet from earlier today, because what I was really talking about is the guide to adoption. And I even said standardization, regulation, implementation, and utilization. This is the stages to full-scale adoption of blockchain and DLT. We are on the regulation stage. The final 2 will happen quickly once regulations are in place. I hope you have prepared accordingly. And the thing about this is that, with trade finance, we're already through standardization. Regulations are practically in through MLETR and a few other things around the electronic trade bill. And then now we are seeing implementation. And what's funny about this is that even the co-founder of XinFin, I'm pretty sure he was the one that mentioned this a few days ago. I might not be able to find it as quick. So yeah, I'm not seeing it. It's probably going to take me a little bit of time to find it, so I don't want to waste your guys' time. But essentially what they said is, next is implementation. And we actually do see here, like, XDC Network integrated with Trade Trust. The IMDA SG is inviting the industry to collaborate and look at implementing solutions to put the power of technology to harness the benefit of all industries. And, that's what they're really kind of looking at right now, is implementation, how they can implement the solutions and this technology into the system to achieve the efficiencies that they need in order to bring trade finance into the 21st century. And this is all through digitalization, tokenization, and it's all powered by DLT and blockchain technology. So it's very exciting to see all of this coming together. It's very exciting to see the gains finally coming to the XDC community, because I'd argue that we've been overlooked and counted out so many times. But I personally love to see that, right? Because one, we need it. We need retail to ignore these tokens, because that's when the FOMO really kicks in and it drives these prices higher. I know that sounds terrible to say, but that's exactly why retail, it's not always going to be winners, right? There's always also going to be losers too. And the losers are the ones that don't focus on these tokens early enough, and they ignore it because they think that's dead, that's not going anywhere, that's gonna, take this long, that long. But prices, like price action happens without utilization. Price action will happen no matter what. The best part about XDC and XinFin, though, is that it does have a ton of catalysts behind it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you. All have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.